Yep.
Frank Pope, winding my day down here in Rosemont at the Muscle Car Corvette Nationals, and I'm talking with the godfather of the GTO, Jim Wangers. Now you might say, why is he talking to him? He's a GTO guy. But I'll tell you what, if it wasn't for him inciting General Motors to push with this 389 engine, and himself playing around with 421s and putting a big block engine in a compact car, and that's what this car, this intermediate car was, maybe the Corvette never would have got the big block in '65. So I'm going to go over and talk to the man. Nice to see you.
Thank you. Nice to be with you.
So I know you're the godfather of the GTO, and I am a Corvette enthusiast, but I believe that what sparked the Corvette to go forward and put a big block in it was you, because of what you did with the GTO and your team.
Well, you're honest enough to admit that. That was one of the things that really helped the GTO get off the ground. Because when suddenly the market out there realized that, my God, for $2,500 you could buy one of these lousy little Pontiacs that would blow away a Corvette. Because all you had in those days in the vet was a 327, and Pontiac was looking at a 389. So you're right, Chevrolet woke up. We got to do something about that.
I'm curious, and all your years, I'm sure you put a 421 in one of these for yourself, did you not?
Oh, I think I and a few thousand other guys did the same thing. That's one of the neat things about a Pontiac that most people don't realize. Every Pontiac engine, from the very smallest, which is 287 cubic inches, all the way up to 455, all came off of the same block. And that meant then that they all would fit because the motor mounts were in the same place. So if you wanted to stick a 421 in a car that was built to have a 326, it was just a relatively easy job because the motor mounts were in the same place.
Well, you know, last night I was hearing you speak, and you mentioned you were originally from Chicago. You're a Chicago guy.
Yeah, I was born and raised in Chicago and still love Chicago. Chicago, incidentally, also was one of Pontiac's really great markets. We used to sell cars in Chicago like we were going out of style, and particularly GTOs and Trans Ams.
Well, one thing about Chicago, I know California is known as the hot rod state, and granted they did start drag racing out there, and it still, you know, reigns today. But if you think about it, we had Nicky Chevrolet, we had Mr. Norm's Grant Spalding Dodge. Just a muscle car era after your GTO would evolve. That right here in Chicago, we had the most legendary drive-in in the Midwest, Skips drive-in, and you coming from Illinois and Chicago in particular, and the other, the king of the drag strip with the Pontiacs, the passionate Pontiacs,
Arnie Beswick,
right here from Illinois. So right here in the center of the United States is where all the power is.
I'll be honest with you, talk about Chicago. I lived in Detroit after I left Chicago, of course, because I was working in the business. But on many a weekend, we would pick up a couple of our better street racers out of Detroit, some of our Royal Bobcats, you know, those specially prepared Pontiacs, and we'd come over to Chicago just to see how good we were, because we always figured if you were running in Chicago, you'd run anywhere. And we got our licks in once in a while, but we also got trimmed once in a while. And there was always a bunch of good machinery in Chicago. About this particular car, this is, in my opinion, the most significant GTO in existence today. This is the 1964 that was turned over to Car and Driver magazine when they were conducting that test between a Pontiac GTO and a Ferrari GTO. Actually put them in a side-by-side comparison. Of course, the Ferrari clean house in just about everything but 0 to 60 and quarter-mile acceleration, which is all we really cared about. But the important point is that this, not a duplicate, but this is the car that was used in that test.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time. I know you're busy, you're signing autographs, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk.
My name's Jim Wangers, and you're watching Vetster.com.